Hi, my name is Julia, and I absolutely love to read. As you can see behind me, I have a lot of books, and I love to read them and talk about them. So I thought that I would talk about the books that I read in February. The first book that I read this month, I finished on the first day of February, actually. I was on a very big Sophie, Lark, and Mafia romance kick this month. It was in coming out of January, more so. But I discovered Sophie Lark's books in January, and I read the first 4 of her books in the Brutal Birthright series, and I finished Bloody Heart, which is the 4th book, in February, and I'm just going to read the description for all of these, just because I'm kind of bad at summarizing books sometimes. So, Simone Solomon lives in a gilded cage. She's been raised to wealth, privilege, and above all, obedience. Hiding in the back of a limousine, dreading another tedious gala, Simone is abducted by a mafioso who intended to steal a car, not a girl. Dante Gallo looks like a beast and behaves like one too, until he lays eyes on Simone. Their attraction is irresistible, even if they're completely wrong for each other. Simone is willing to risk everything for Dante until the disastrous night that splits them apart. Fate grants her one more chance to reconnect with the man that she can't forget, but Simone has a secret and a mistake that she fears Dante will never forgive. So I rated this a 5 stars. All of the books in Sophie Lark's Brutal Birthright series that I have right here, all the ones I read so far at least, have all been 5 stars. My favorite in the series has been Stolen Air, which is Miko and Nessa's story. Wow, I really can't talk. But this was an incredible story. I was kind of worried getting more into the series that there was going to be a book that I didn't like or one that would be kind of filler or anything, but every single book in this series is so filled with action and just things are always happening. And that's what I love about Sophie Lark. It's never just filler language. Everything is so meaningful, and I can't wait to continue reading this series. I really, really love it. The next book that I read in February was a very, very, highly anticipated read for me, and it's Final Offer by Lauren Asher. I very thoroughly enjoyed it, and I really got into annotating this month, too. I never was really into tabbing my books until recently, but this follows Cal and Alana, and Cal is the 3rd brother in the Dreamland Billionaires series, and he's the 3rd book. And I was really, really excited for this because Cal was always seen as the fun party brother in the other books, but this one we really got to look into who he is and his battles with addiction. So I'll read the description for this one too. Cal: I'm the Kane brother who everyone gossips about behind closed doors. Trust fund brat, washed up athlete, high functioning alcoholic. Nobody knows the real me except for her. Lana Castillo: my childhood best friend and the only woman I ever loved. When I broke her heart 6 years ago, I promised to never return to Lake Wisteria. I kept my word until my grandfather's will changed everything. To receive my inheritance, I was tasked with spending the summer at the family lake house before selling it. The request was simple in theory until my entire plan blew up on the very first day. Turns out Lana doesn't just live at the house, but she claims to own it too. Alana: falling in love with Callahan Kane was a mistake. He told me so before destroying my heart and our friendship 6 summers ago. When he promised to never come back, I foolishly believed him, but then Cal showed up again, intending to sell his grandfather's lake house. The biggest flaw in his plan: my name is on the deed. So this is very much a second chance best friends to lovers romance. They were childhood friends as well, and this book was absolutely incredible. It was my favorite in the Dreamland Billionaire series so far, and honestly, I laughed, I cried, I smiled. This book, it was just really, really good, and it was a great way to end the series, which I'm very sad is now over. I have a problem when it comes to starting new series and then not wanting to just power through and read the rest all at once, and that problem persisted in this month because I started 2 new series, and the first one is Shatter Me. I read the first book in the Shatter Me series, and I rated this a 3.75 stars. It was a little bit of a slow start, and I could kind of sense that with a young adult dystopian novel that there needs to be a little bit of world building and establishment so we just know what's going on. But this is about Juliet, and she has a lethal touch that cannot be explained, and it's pretty much a post-apocalyptic world, and there's nobody left, and she has been in this jail for a very long time until she gets kidnapped and taken out of it so that her powers could be used for other reasons. And this description is much shorter, but nobody knows why Juliet's touch is fatal, but the reestablishment has plans for her. Plans to use her as a weapon. But Juliet has plans of her own. After a lifetime without freedom, she's finally discovering a strength to fight back for the very first time and to find a future with the one boy that she thought she'd lost forever. In the electrifying first book of the Shatter series, Tahereh Mafi represents a riveting dystopian world, a thrilling superhero story, and an unforgettable heroine. I really, really love the character building we get in this first book of Juliet, and I just want to give her a hug. Like, if she was real, I just want to give her a hug. She's just so cute. And I will say, the one thing I didn't like about this book was I thought that the whole Adam situation was kind of insta-lovey, and I just didn't really understand it. I was like, could have done without it, but I'm really excited to continue the series, even though there's so many books in it, but it's okay. I'll power through. And then the next series I started was the Off-Campus series, which I feel like that's one of the most talked about series that I see on, like, book talk or within book communities. And I rated the first book, The Deal, a 5 stars. This book was so cute. Like, this is what I would have wanted to happen when I went to college. Like, oh my gosh. But we have Garrett and Hannah, and it's a fake dating trope. This is also a hockey romance, this series. And Hannah is a super shy singer, and she's a music major at the school that they go to, and Garrett is the star hockey player on the hockey team there. And she wants to get the attention of this guy that she's a crush on, and Garrett needs to get a better grade in his one class so that he can continue playing hockey. So the two of them form an alliance to fake date each other so they can both get what they want, and then it ends up with them falling in love with each other. And this was just such a cute little book. Like, it honestly had me, like, kicking my feet and smiling while reading it. It was adorable. I really, really liked this. And the last book that I read this month was The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. This is the second book in the Off-Campus series. I rated this 3 stars, and I had really high hopes for this at the beginning. I really was excited about getting other people in the friend group's perspective, but I hate to say, like, I probably could have gone without reading this one. This is about Logan and Grace, and hence the title. Logan makes a mistake that sort of halts him and Grace from moving forward in the relationship, but nevertheless, they end up getting together later in the book. And I don't know, like, if I just had too high hopes for it, but it just kind of felt like a build-up to not necessarily, like, that good of an outcome, I hate to say. Like, they end up together and the ending is happy, but I just got kind of bored while I was reading it. So that's why this was a 3 stars in comparison to The Deal being a 5 star. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about the rest of the series, and I've heard from just friends that have read it and other people that the third book in the series, The Score, is their favorite, which is Dean's book. So I'm excited to continue reading them. It's just, I didn't really like the second book that much. Even though I have not finished this book yet, I started it in February, so that's why I'm mentioning it, and that is Things That We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. This was released on, was it February 1st? Might have been, I'm not sure. But this was released this month, and this is the second book in the Knock 'Em Out series. The first book was about Knox and Naomi, and this book is about Knox's brother, Nash, who is the police chief of Knock 'Em Out, and Lena, who is a private investigator. And I'm really liking this so far. It is a little bit slow. Lucy Score definitely does some slow burn in her books, but I'm hopeful that I will enjoy the rest of it. So, thank you for watching my video. I hope that you got some reading inspiration from this. If anybody would like to hear what books I think are definitely worth it to read, I would definitely say read The Deal. The Off-Campus series, I can tell, is probably going to be, like, top 5 series for sure. It's a little bit dated, the writing style, but I really, really did like The Deal, so definitely read The Deal. You could honestly probably skip over The Mistake. That's just my thoughts, though. Definitely read Shatter Me. I think that it's a very good dystopian series, and it's definitely age appropriate for a wide variety of people to read as well, which is nice. I mean, this was the best book that I read this month, so I definitely suggest that people read the Dreamland Billionaire series. They're interconnected standalone, so you don't have to read them in order, but it would be helpful just with getting to know the family more, since it's about 3 brothers. And obviously, anything by Sophie Lark, I would recommend. I mean, I kind of said, like, read all of these, but, I mean, that's the point. If it's a good book, then, like, why not? So, yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you again for watching, and I will be back with more book content.